Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the latest episode of What We Do in the Shadows, P.I. Undercover, New York. Let's see. Yes. And I really love this episode. I think it had a really good A storyline and B storyline with a little bit of connective tissue going on, but not that much. They're kind of contained to their own kind of realms for the most part. We get another great one where we have Nandor and Laszlo doing their own kind of stuff and roping Guillermo into it, and then Nadja and Colin dealing with a crazy kind of ass situation. Now, one of the great things that this episode does is it focuses on the kind of reflections for the vampires, not to like a giant extent, but there's really kind of cool stuff where we see that Nadja's talking with Colin, and Colin's kind of getting ready for something, and we don't see a reflection in the mirror, and then we get a little scuffle later on between Nandor and Laszlo, and their reflections aren't in the mirror, and I just love when they're able to do that kind of shit and do it very well. So we get Nandor pretty much walking around the neighborhood and then seeing that like shit's kind of going down. There's a lot of people going about. He's trying to get back to the house, and this one dude is stopping him, and he just fucking thunderchucks the dude and kills his ass. And then he's like, shit, we're under attack, trying to get Laszlo in on it. And then Colin's pretty much able to say, no, they're just filming P.I. Undercover New York here. It's no big thing. And of course, Laszlo and Nandor think of it as a war kind of scenario and are trying to figure out what to kind of do with this. And it's funny that Colin is looking up some of the stuff. He actually finds one of his own shit posts about the show. I was like, oh yeah, that was me. And it was really kind of funny to see him get that kind of realization. And we get all this other kind of stuff kind of going on because one of the crew accidentally backs up a truck through one of the walls. It's like, fuck this shit, we're going ham. So they pretty much kind of go on a reconnaissance thing, kind of seeing what's kind of going on. We get their kind of understanding of what's happening. Nandor keeps getting in frames of shots, and one of the best kind of gags towards the end is seeing him actually in the show because of him being in the shot. But Laszlo's talking about how, and ripping into the whole thing of production, the director doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. The writer's the one that's pretty much the one doing everything. And we see that Nandor pretty much switches sides because they're like, all right, let's fucking kill the director and kind of get out of this. They pretty much sneak in, but then Nandor pretty much gets into there, like asking people if they have cans. And it's interesting to see him doing work stuff because I don't think he does not have a bad attitude as a worker. He just, it's funny because he's asking people if they need cans when they clearly have them on their fucking head. And the director's like, what the fuck is going on with you, you son of a bitch? And they're just kind of like figuring out kind of how to deal with this, but Nandor's betrayal really kind of fucks with Laszlo, and he's like, oh, fuck this shit. But then he starts kind of like fighting with him because he wants the sweatshirt, and Laszlo then trying to like go around, and it's just petty kind of shit. They also get Guillermo into it because they're like, we need help with this, and Guillermo's like, P.I. Undercover New York, holy shit. And he's really into this, like deep into it, has a fan magazine, doing all this kind of shit, really into the lead actor of this police procedural, and it's got like all of these different kind of like, this is like a spin-off universe fucking thing, Law and Order SVU kind of shit. Well, the whole Law and Order kind of series, and it's just like, holy fucking shit. And he kind of wants to work with the dude. We get that their one plan is to pretty much kill the actor to pretty much get them kind of like out of here. So they attempt to do that, but Guillermo's like, don't fucking do that. He's kind of geeking out. Pretty much almost takes the dude's fucking muffin. And Matt Berry is just on point, talking about a succulent Chinese meal, saying that Nandor's just jealous of his swag as he's like going through and like taking all these clothes and shit, and understanding the kind of betrayal that was kind of going on. It was just great to see them kind of trying to work at the same goal, but then getting distracted on certain kind of things. Nandor with his need to be kind of linked to a greater kind of cause, whether it being that of a follower within a kind of machine or the leader himself, as we've seen him leading the folks that were screwed over by Cannon Capital, and also working in Cannon Capital as the janitor. He has a good spirit and attitude. He just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And that pretty much is what leads him to all the kind of stuff. They also attempted to list Shawnee into helping out, but he has rented out his bathroom, pretty much being like, you know how many famous people pissed in my toilet? Like, yeah, that's how Shawnee would fucking take that kind of shit. He'd definitely look at that golden lining there. But it was kind of funny to have Sean brought back into that kind of, since we'd had a Sean-centric one. It just goes to show that when the show is on point, it just effectively utilizes any kind of character that they have, whether for a big storyline that we had seen previously with Shawnee, or whether him just renting out his bathroom to a show that is filming. So, they attempt to pretty much take the dude out, but Guillermo's pretty much able to kind of prevent that kind of atrocity. Let's see. So they pretty much get into a fight because Laszlo's taking these kind of clothes because he kind of wants the clothes. And then they get into a nice kind of fight that is an effective use of the budget that they're able to do. One thing I would really want people to understand for this show is how to effectively utilize your budget. They don't just hang back onto the complete cheapest trope of being able to just force push or force pull or anything like that line-wise. They get into physicality. They understand what they need to do with the lore of their characters and their supernatural creatures, and they hit on it. This show knows how to fucking do it. And the funny thing is, Nandor... Beyond that, Nandor also killed, like, this one dude. I think he pretty much took that dude's spot, because we also see that Nadja and Colin pretty much come back after their kind of storyline pretty much comes up, and she fucking thunderchucks another PA, but it's just a funny little kind of thing. It's like, that's the extent of the intersection. And by the time that Laszlo and Nandor are done fighting and are back on the same page and ready to pretty much kill everybody at the production, it's funny, it's like, why the fuck are you guys still here? We're done. Everybody's gone. It's like, we won! It's like... oh, it's great. And then the stinger at the end is that Guillermo's watching the episode that was filmed, and we see Nandor, and it's funny because they're like yelling at him to get out of the fucking shot, but they kind of kept it in, and Guillermo's like, nah. So, the B storyline is that Colin pretty much gets a dinner invitation for Joel and Becky, this one friend that he had in this one office space, and we're seeing that friendship is a very big theme for Colin in this season, pretty much his story, and he really liked having this friend Joel. They'd fuck around and have their own in-jokes and everything like that. He actually gets him like a signed baseball card, even though Joel has kind of fallen off of baseball. And Nadja wants to pretty much go and see how well she's learned small talk and everything. I'm like, this is interesting. I kind of like this. Yeah, they kind of act like assholes, but Colin wants to see his friend, and Nadja wants to see how well she can do stuff with talking with small talk that she's learned from her job. I'm like, that's actually a pretty cool kind of thing. And of course, there's the comedy involved in that kind of stuff. And the thing is, Colin didn't think there was that much between him and Becky, but yet when they're kind of talking about their kind of relationship, he figured out that he was pretty much the kind of venting kind of one, and that we see that Joel and Becky do not have the greatest kind of relationship. However, we don't know how much of this is manufactured, if that makes sense, if it's part of how they kind of keep their romance kind of alive. Because they're making the dinner and everything. She's pretty much berating him for not doing the things that he said he would do. We get Nadja kind of playing up to what's kind of going on with being introduced as Colin's girlfriend and kissing him kind of crazily, and Colin's like, stick to something. She would either just be like kind of cold fish or just like licking his fucking face, which was just great because they don't go completely overboard. They know how to kind of handle the escalation and everything, and they're doing the kind of games and everything like that, and Becky's pretty much laughing and hanging on at any kind of thing that Colin's doing. Not just like her vagina's pulsing for you, man. She's got your shit on. And he's like, no, 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 no. I mean, she'd vent to me and stuff like that, but no, 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 no. And the thing is, Joel then brings it up and asks Colin to fuck his wife. And it's like, oh shit. And this is even a line that is like, we've seen these motherfuckers do fuck and entertain some of the weirdest goddamn fucking shit possible. This is the line for Colin's like, nah, man, no. Well, thank you. Okay, yeah. And he's like, yeah, maybe we'll get together again and you can fuck my wife. It's like, oh, God, as they just kind of fuck out. And Colin's just like, I just want a normal friendship. And Nadja actually has a very interesting kind of take on this. Whereas, like, yeah, sometimes humans, they just, like, bottle up their desires to the point where they just fucking squirt themselves to death. It's like, now, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but it's along those kind of lines. I'm like, yeah, you got a kind of good point. And she then kills the PA and kind of goes in back to the house and everything. And we'd also seen that Guillermo wanted to pretty much have an autograph with the actor dude, but he's like, fuck off. And then Nandor and Laszlo, being the kind of friends that they're just like, come on, dude, just fucking take a picture with him. He's like, fuck you. And then the dude tries to attempt to fight them, and they just kind of fuck his shit up, and then just give him the sweated shirt that they were fighting over and the hat, because they knew how much it kind of meant to him as a kind of consolation. And even they manipulate Guillermo, they shit on him, they do horrible shit, and then they kind of do something that actually shows that they kind of understand him, kind of care about him. Though you would want them to kind of grow past and not do the kind of horrible shit, but we have seen them go from completely shitting on him as familiar to kind of respecting him and actually coming in for help for things, even though they still think they're in the position of power of like, I can fuck this little dude up if I kind of fucking want to, but he's got this vampire hunting genes in him that's like, it's gonna be a little bit harder than you think, my friend. And it's just nice that they're able to do this. Like, here's your consolation. They were fighting over this shit, and they give it to him. But mainly because even though it's a petty kind of thing for them to fight over, it wasn't that kind of a big thing for them to really kind of go for. It's not like this thing that's going to be the biggest, greatest fucking thing that'll hold great meaning to Nandor and Laszlo. Nandor got the shirt. Laszlo wanted the shirt. They started fighting over it, and that's about it. And then they're like, fuck it, here. I don't even care that much about this thing. We've already won against these motherfuckers anyway. There you go. So yeah, I just wanted to hit those kind of bits, and I liked how much time was allotted to both of them. I think that Nandor and Laszlo's did deserve the great boost of time, and Colin's didn't overstay its welcome. They kind of explored the kind of aspect in the time that it kind of needed. It didn't feel too long or too short or overstayed its welcome on any kind of joke kind of front, like Tegrity Farms for South Park. That is the biggest and prime example that I've got for a joke completely outstaying its welcome, where not even the creators can, they just then start like, yeah, we hear that you're kind of tired of this, but we're still going to do it fucking anyway to annoy you. It's like, okay, I'm out. But here, they just, I'm going to miss this show. I mean, yeah, there's certain ones where I'm like, this really didn't work out that well for me, but when this hits on point, like these last 2 episodes, it's just an enjoyable time. And even if I'm not laughing out loud at the funniest kind of bits, it doesn't, like, it's hard for them to get to the trial for me with that baby and everything that was executed, I still have a happy time, and I'm still able to have that kind of smile on my face. And if you didn't enjoy this episode, I completely get that. You're totally understandable. But this one just really hit it for me, and I can't wait to see what other kind of shenanigans we get into. We're almost to the end, and it's kind of crazy. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.